We are back on air, coming to you live with news and views from the National Legislature in Cape Town. Good morning and welcome to our very first edition of A View from the House for the 2013 parliamentary session. I am Lucanyo Talata and thank you very much for joining us. Now, on Thursday last week, President Jacob Zuma presented his State of the Nation address at a joint sitting of Parliament. He will be back at the podium on Thursday afternoon to reply to this week's debate on his State of the Nation address. Now, that debate takes place today and tomorrow, and in this program, we will bring you highlights on issues raised by members of both the ruling party as well as the opposition. But in today's program, we hear what the presiding officers of Parliament have in mind for this year's parliamentary session. We've also invited the Chief Whip of the ANC, Dr. Matole Motshekga, to talk about his party's agenda for 2013. We also have news about 8 opposition parties represented in Parliament forming a united front against the ruling party. But now, let's go to our very first item. Now, the 2013 parliamentary session is now in full swing. President Jacob Zuma delivered his State of the Nation address last week on Thursday, setting the scene for this year's session. The official opening of Parliament was filled with colour, pomp and ceremony.
As the sun sets over Table Mountain, an air of excitement hung over the parliamentary precinct. Music in the background of the proceedings came from the Air Force Band under the baton of Lieutenant Commander Matthew Spinar. The opening of Parliament is one ceremony of state where all 3 arms of the state come together to play out their constitutional roles in full view of the nation. The 3 arms of state are demonstrated by the procession of the judiciary led by Chief Justice Mogoeng. The procession of the executive is represented by provincial premiers and speakers of the 9 provinces. And finally, the deputy president and the president himself. Since the president is also the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, the military also plays a role in the pomp and ceremony. South African citizens are represented by the Junior Guard of Honor and eminent persons drawn from the 9 provinces. It's an occasion that brings the city of Cape Town to a standstill from the upper end of Adderley Street right into Parliament Street. Both the president and his deputy are dropped off at the Slave Lodge just in front of the parliamentary gates. The executive, led by the presiding officers, then proceed to the main entrance of the new wing, leading up to the National Assembly, where the president takes the national salute.
Now, on the occasion of the official opening of Parliament, we spoke to the Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Sisulu, about Parliament's agenda for the 2013 parliamentary session and what South Africans should expect from lawmakers during this year.
From the legislature is about, oversight, socioeconomic development through oversight, which basically means that Parliament continues to play an oversight role over the executive and also does that through public participation. So you bring the element of public participation and the element of oversight together.
What can South Africans expect from this Parliament during this year? What can South Africans expect from this year?
Well, we expect first and foremost to hear from government how far we have gone. Every state of the nation, there are statements made by the government about the state of the economy. We expect that this year it will be similar. We'll hear about the state of the economy, but most important, we want to hear how far we've gone in terms of addressing the problems that we have in South Africa, the problems of unemployment, slow economic growth and poverty, the triple problems that we face in our country. but also we also want to be able to say together, what is it that we can do as a nation, as a people, do differently and do better. So that's an opportunity for all of us to reflect on where we are, where we come from, and where we want to go.
The chairperson of the National Council of Provinces, Mr. Mninwa Mahlangu, says Parliament will jack up its oversight role and promote public participation during this year's parliamentary session.
Well, the theme that we're taking forward this year is economic development through oversight and public participation. And that's very important for us. When looking at socio-economic issues in the country that needs to be addressed, we think that Parliament should be engaged with the theme throughout the year and make sure that the oversight function played by the committees of Parliament plays a key role in order to achieve the goals that we've set ourselves to achieve those things to make the lives of our people better on the ground. Therefore, on that reason, we've chosen this theme because it's very important to us and close to the hearts of the people who have elected us.
How will Parliament realize that theme, though? What are the actual nuts and bolts that you will put in place to make sure that you realize that theme?
Well, first and foremost is coordination of Parliament work. That's very important. NCOP and the National Assembly committees have got to make sure that they coordinate better, not just with themselves, but coordinate better with the provinces, coordinate with the municipalities as well, because all three spheres of government must be hands on deck, and all of us must make sure that they deliver on those services. That's first. But secondly, we have got to increase our resources, particularly financially, because we have to spend more of our time, which we have already started in the NCOP, in the field, make sure that things are happening, and also make sure that our research capacity researches properly and find out or dig out the things that we would like to be worked on and to be implemented and be achieved.
It's time for a quick commercial break. When we return, we talk to the Chief Whip of the Majority Party, Dr. Matole Motshekga, about the ANC's agenda for this year's parliamentary session. Stay tuned.